Hi, this is Diane Ehrig. I am doing a live on 6 ways to build resiliency for nurses, and I am going to go ahead and get started. I want to thank everyone for coming and joining me, and I get to, uh, oh gosh, yeah, here we go. I don't know how to share my screen, so maybe this at the very end, it may not make sense, but I hope you'll ask me for my slides that I'm preparing. There are some PowerPoint slides. All right, my name is Diane Ehrig. I am a registered nurse. I've been a nurse for 14 years now. I specialize in nursing education, specifically presenting educational topics at night for night shift nurses. So welcome to this broadcast. So first of all, I want to talk about what is resiliency. Resiliency is the ability to recover quickly from difficulties. One of the common terms that some people use is the term to bounce back. Yeah. Why do we want it? Wow. Things that happen in life for us, and things like car accidents, sudden health challenges, death of a friend, a loved one, experiencing abuse, stress, sometimes our daily lives, we want to build resiliency so that we can continue to function and support our patients and also have effective patient outcomes. So one of the first ways that one can build up resilience is speak up now. What that means is say something to the other person. So say you're in an interaction with another person and they're saying something that might be critical of you or what you're doing or who you are as a person. Say something right away. Okay, definitely say something right away. So things like stop, no, very, very short, very brief. Okay, right away. Walk or run away. So whatever is appropriate. So sometimes, yes, you are in physical danger and run away from that situation. And sometimes if the person is just, the other party is being super like abusive or critical or anything like that, you'll want to get out of there, get out of that space as soon as possible. Walk away or run away if that's necessary. All right. And if this situation is happening at work, you've got a lot of resources that can help support you. And one of them being human resources. So go to your human resources department and talk about what you experienced and let them resolve the situation. You may not even need to say anything to the other person. Maybe not. Maybe they'll take care of it for you. There's also compliance hotlines. Every employer, even if you're not compliance hotline, you can call anonymously. That's the really cool about it. You don't even have to say who you are or how to reach you or anything like that. If you're wanting to be anonymous about it, and that may be the safest thing for you to do as an individual, call that compliance hotline. And they're usually available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Another free resource to you is Employee Assistance Program, EAP, through your employer. Also usually can access that information through a toll-free telephone number to set up a time to talk to maybe a counselor of some sort. And then also professional counseling, therapy with psychiatrists, psychologists. So speak up, speak to somebody, let somebody know what's going on, and get some support right away to handle the situation and to manage your feelings about the situation. All right. Another way to build resiliency is to set boundaries. So as I mentioned in the previous topic under Say Something Now, the word no is a complete sentence. So what that means is that you don't get to explain or justify why you're saying no. Simple no. Can you do this? No. Do you want to talk about it? No. And don't even explain it any further. Another thing you can do in any in interactions, especially if it's going to be an ongoing situation like a project at work, or maybe something, these are your coworkers. Discuss your expectations. So when you first get hired for your position, you've got your job description to go by. So those are some expectations, policies and procedures. And then you can, if it's a more personal interaction, or even a professional one between you and another coworker, you can discuss your expectations with that person really early on in your interaction. All right. I highly recommend this next one, which is explore your own deal breakers. What that means is things that you set your boundaries on, that you don't want to experience, something that will be so devastating to you professionally, personally, emotionally, and so forth. So for example, one of my boundaries is a deal breaker for me is the other person not keeping their word. So keeping their word is vital to establishing trust, right? That makes sense. And so if a person does not keep their word, then trust is broken or trust is damaged very, very severely. Highly recommend you explore your own deal breakers. All right. Establish consequences. So what are the consequences to that other person or for yourself for, crossing those boundaries? So for example, when I'm teaching a class, sometimes students come into the presentation late. So if you're more than 5 minutes late, I don't let that person come in and disturb the entire class. Everyone else was on time. I was on time, and they don't get to have extra attention or the ability to go back and repeat what was missed. So I will announce to that person something to the effect of, thank you for coming, and you get to reschedule your attendance at this class where you can be on time, at the start of class. And actually, I highly recommend being early, getting to somewhere early. Okay. Another thing you can do to set boundaries is to disengage. What that means is not talking to the person. Don't interact with them. Avoid interaction with them. Don't try to call them. Don't try to text them. Don't try to communicate with them any kind of way. Just totally separate yourself from that other person. But sometimes other people's reactions and interactions can be so toxic and potentially damaging to you that you would be benefiting by just disengaging. Just don't even contact them anymore. All right. Next, spiritual practices. Oh yeah, super important to engage in spiritual practices. So things like prayer, meditation, reading and studying your religious texts or spiritual books and things like that. Definitely gathering at places of worship. So whatever faith you practice in, there's often a place of worship at which to gather. Highly recommend doing that. Things like yoga, and there's others like grounding and so forth. So those are important to do to help you build resiliency. And I also recommend that you do these on a daily basis, on a regular basis. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. So things like prayer and meditation and so forth, or reading and studying, you can devote a small amount of time, 3 to 5 minutes to get yourself started, and consistently practicing that. For example, in the morning, when you first wake up or right before you go to bed, you can practice things like, prayer and meditation, and absolutely gratitude. So gratitude for everything that occurred during the time you were working or during throughout your day. Spiritual practices. Gratitude, very, very important. Next. All right. Sustenance, meaning nutrition and hydration. Yeah, you get to eat and you get to hydrate yourself, drinking enough water. Meal preparation. So often nurses who work, especially if you're working 12-hour shifts, like most of us do, meal preparation is super, super important and can really help support your energy requirements throughout the day, preparing your meals ahead of time. Or there's so many meal preparation services, things you can know that are delivered to you a couple of times a week or once a week. Meal preparation services that will also support you. So if you're preparing the meals yourself, you can pick a day throughout the week, like when you're off or what have you, where you can prepare your meals and put them in containers so that you can just grab them and put them in your lunch, to take them to work with you. Things like gardening and visiting a farmer's market. So gardening in and of itself is a way to build resiliency because you're literally touching the soil and you're outdoors and you're in the outside environment. You can hear birds, for example, and being out in the air, being out, a little bit of exposure to sunshine, also great to do and will help you build resiliency. I mentioned it a few minutes ago, drinking plenty of water. And yes, that also means while you're at work. As nurses, we are generally so super dehydrated. That's why some of us get a little bit foggy in our brains a little, later on in our shifts. Or sometimes one can even get angry, just like irritable because you're not drinking enough water. So you can support your body by drinking plenty of water. And that goes along with using the bathroom. So if you're drinking a lot of water, you will also be needing to use the bathroom. And please, please, please don't hold your urine don't hold your urine very long. Go and use the bathroom. It literally only takes about 2 minutes to go use the bathroom and take care of that. Take care of yourself. You're really supporting yourself by drinking water and by using the bathroom on a timely basis. And you don't have to wait for your breaks. Just go, right? Literally, just go. All right. Preparing your own foods, things like baking, broiling, and steaming foods. That's the healthiest way to prepare them. So, of course, avoid things like frying them, using heavy batters and things like that. So bake, broil, and steam. Okay. Also eating raw vegetables and fruits. So salads and fruits that aren't prepared aren't cooked at all or aren't steamed can also support you with your nutrition. All right. Cool. Oh my gosh. One of my favorites, one of the most important, sleep. Yeah, sleep. Well, Diane, how can I do that? I work a 12-and-a-half-hour shift. I don't get home until, I'm gone from home about anywhere from 14 to 15 hours a day, sometimes even longer. Yeah, even more important to get enough sleep. Support your sleep by doing things like room darkening curtains, having a fan going, so creating a white noise, earplugs, eye masks, and all those things to support your sleep. Really, if you think about it, a healthy sleeping pattern is super important. And it will definitely support you to build resiliency. This is how your body recovers. So it's super important to really be diligent about getting your sleep. All right. Another way to build resiliency is to socialize. Yeah, get off those freaking phones already. And I don't mean socializing everybody's on the phone and, texting and so on and so forth. Put the phones down and talk to people that are in front of you. Yes, in person is really the best way to do it. Yes, we live in a world with a lot of electronic communications and so forth. However, there's nothing else like seeing and talking to somebody in person. Yeah, for sure. By telephone, that works too. Things like video calls. So a lot of cell phones have the ability to do video calls with your friends and whatnot. So if you can't be there in person, at least you can see how the other person is, their facial expressions, their body language, and so forth. That's a pretty good way to socialize as well. Very important for the nursing profession, networking groups. So belonging to, participating in your professional organization. So going to those meetings in person, attending classes and things that they offer, different kinds of mixers that are offered by those professional organizations. Maybe your hospital or your facility has its own networking organization. There's a lot of opportunities through specialties, like with the nursing professional development, critical care nurses, nurses in business, nursing professional development. All of those are opportunities to network. And yes, you can stay current in your practice at the same time, as well as meeting and talking to other people in person. All right, awesome. All right, last but not least, surprise. And that S is really a stretch. Maybe every something that might be a little bit stretchy for you. I know you can't see the screen on this particular slide, but this one is me on my very first professional photo shoot. And I'm at the beach and I'm in the water, and my hands and knees are in the surf, and I'm having a lot of fun. And doing this particular photo shoot was a stretch for me for several reasons. But what I'm saying is go out and do something just a little bit stretchy. I'm not talking about crazy. I'm talking about something's like, oh, I'm not that comfortable doing that. But you know what? Sometimes it's super fun to do that. So yeah, go out and do something spontaneous and have fun with it. Again, it doesn't take a lot of planning or a lot of investment in your finances or whatever. And the thing is, you cannot put a price tag on your results. It's fun. And that really does also help you build resiliency. So guess what? The other surprise is that there really are 7 ways that I'm talking about here to build resiliency. Yes. All right. And also I have a new book that came out. It's called A Nightingale's Journey. It is my autobiography. It's available on Amazon and Kindle. And my website is nightnurse.academy, NIGHTNURSE.academy. You can contact me through that website. You can set up an appointment to book me as a speaker at your events. And I'll have a way where I can put the link to purchase my book there, and to also contact me through my cell phone or through email or what have you. I'd love to keep in touch with you, and I'm offering that as a way to keep in touch with me and to make sure I support you in building your resiliency. All right, awesome. Thank you so much. And my resources, I have Elena Aguilar, the Onward Workbook, and she also has a regular book and called Daily Activities to Cultivate Your Emotional Resilience and Thrive. Free photos, that's the picture of the kitty cat. My photo credit, Omar Hamilton Jr., November of 2017. The Art of Alignment at sweetieconsulting.com, a dear friend of mine that talks about the art. That's one of the things that she teaches on is called The Art of Alignment. My dear friend and co-author and author and public speaker and so forth, Michelle Green Rhodes. I want to thank her for this opportunity. My friend Jill Stratton had a recent Facebook 5-day challenge called Boundaries Babe. And that also supported me developing some of this material for this course. I want to thank you for your time. You take care. Bye.